Good morning, Birmingham Unitarian Church.
Good morning.
Welcome to all, whether you're visiting us for the first time or have been here many times before. Whether you're joining us here in the sanctuary or remotely via Zoom or watching this recording later, it's good to connect with you. Today, children will be with us in the sanctuary for a story before heading to their activities. The family room, which is located just to the left at the back of the sanctuary, has audio of the service piped in, and that's open for parents and children. Care is also available in our nursery on the lower level for infants and children through age 5. By greeting our virtual neighbors, we build a bridge between online and in-person participants. First, we'll bring up on our screen the image of folks who are with us on Zoom, and if you're comfortable doing so, please turn on your cameras and give us a wave. Now, we who are gathered here in the sanctuary are invited to turn and face the camera in the back and give the folks on Zoom a wave. Coffee and conversation will follow the service in Hodis Hall, which is located to the left after you exit the sanctuary. Our newcomer table is a place where visitors and newcomers can meet and chat with members of the congregation and with each other. All are encouraged to drop by, just look for the colorful sign. And virtual coffee hour will also take place on Zoom after the service. Whenever, however, and wherever we connect with BUC, we are building this beloved community.
Today's chalice lighting is by Elizabeth McMaster to illuminate the world we seek. We light our flaming chalice to illuminate the world we seek. In the search of truth, may we be just. In the search for justice, may we be loving. And in loving, may we find peace.
Please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing My Life Flows On in Endless Song, hymn number 108.
My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far off hymn that hails a new
We have come to this church not because we expect to find answers here, but rather because we expect to be encouraged in our questioning. We have come to this church not because we expect to find perfect people here, but rather because we hope to find authentic people here. We have come to this church not because we are certain of our own righteousness, but because we are continually searching for the right, the good, the uplifting. We have come to this church not because we need to be told what to believe or how to act, but rather because we need each other's encouragement to act according to our own beliefs.
Our story for today is Old Turtle and the Broken Truth by Douglas Wood. Once in a beautiful faraway land that was somehow not so very far, a land where every stone was a teacher and every breeze a language, where every lake was a mirror and every tree a ladder to the stars. Into this far and lovely land there fell a truth. It streaked down from the stars, trailing a tail as long as the sky. But as it fell, it broke. Is that a little better? Okay. A truth fell from the sky. One of the pieces blazed off through the night sky, and the others fell to earth in the beautiful land. In the morning, Crow found the fallen piece and picked it up. "This is a lovely truth," said Crow, and he carried it away. But after a while, he noticed it was missing a piece. "I'll look for a whole one," Crow decided. He flew off and dropped it to the ground. Other creatures, such as fox and coyote and raccoon, picked it up and carried it, but each discovered it was broken and dropped it. Butterfly and bear also discovered the truth. Each thought, "There's something missing in this truth," and they left it alone. After a while, the broken truth lay on the ground, forgotten. Then a human found it. He picked up the broken truth and saw there was writing. It said, "You are loved." The man thought it was lovely and kept it, feeling proud and happy. Then the man took the wonderful truth to the people who lived with him. They cherished their newfound truth and believed in it. It became their most cherished possession. After a while, the man and his people did not hear the language of breezes and stones, but heard only their truth. They did not see the mirrored lakes or the ladders to the stars, but saw only their sparkling truth. And for them, that was enough. And they called it the truth. The truth made people feel good and proud and strong. But soon they began to feel fear and anger toward those who did not share their truth. The other beings and people of the lovely land seemed less and less important. Time passed, and other people said, "We must have this great truth for ourselves, for with it comes happiness and power." Many battles were fought, and the broken truth was won and lost, over and over again. The stones and trees suffered. The breezes and waters suffered, and the animals. But most of all, the people suffered. Finally, the animals went to Old Turtle, ancient and wise as the mountains and seas. Raccoon, crow, fox, and butterfly, and many others went to Old Turtle. They said, "This truth the people fight over is broken and does not work. Please Tell the people." "I'm sorry," answered Old Turtle, "but they will not listen. They are not ready." And the suffering continued. Until one day, a little girl came to find Old Turtle. She had ridden on the backs of animals and the wings of birds, crossing the mountains of imagining and the river of wondering, all the way to the forest of finding out. When they came to a great hill in the center of the world, the little girl thought she had never seen so far or seen so much beauty. When she saw Old Turtle, she simply looked with eyes full of wonder. "Why have you come to me, little one?" asked Old Turtle. I wanted to ask a question. Where I live, the earth is sore and people are suffering. People say it has always been this way and will never change. Can it change, Old Turtle? Old Turtle spoke. "The world you describe is not the world that has always been." She told of how the people had found the broken truth. It is the lost portion of that broken truth that the people need, if the world is to be made whole again. "But where is the missing piece?" asked the little girl. "Can we put the truth back together again?" "My child, there are truths all around us and within us. They twinkle in the sky and bloom on the earth. The people, clutching their one truth, forgot the small and lovely truths of life and no longer see or hear these truths. But perhaps, little one, you can." I will try," said the little girl. She thought of the beauty of her long journey, the clouds and the birds, the dancing of light, and the green and living earth, and gradually a feeling came over her, as though the world were made of truths. She felt a secret smile somewhere deep inside. She looked at Old Turtle, her eyes more filled with wonder than before. Old Turtle spoke. "Remember this also. The broken truth will be mended only when one person meets another from a different place with a different face and sees and hears herself. Only then will the people know that every person, every being is important, and the world is made for each of us. Take this with you," as she placed something in the little girl's hand. "I've saved it for a long time for someone like you." The little girl looked in her hand at a mysterious stone, lovely to touch and lovely to see. She squeezed it tightly, then tucked it away for her journey. "Thank you, Old Turtle," she said, and hugged her friend's great leathery neck. Then she started home. With Crow and her animal friends, she traveled through the forest of finding out, crossed the river of wondering why, and the mountains of imagining. It took a long time, yet no time at all. And she was home, but it had been a long journey, and her heart had changed. The people didn't recognize her. When she spoke, they didn't understand. When she told of a world made of small and gentle truths, they could not follow her words. When she explained about the broken truth and the need to make it whole, they didn't believe her. Finally, Crow, seeing all, flew to the place in the high tower where the great truth was kept. He cawed, and suddenly the little girl knew what to do. She climbed to that high place herself. Taking the stone from her pocket, she carefully added the missing piece to the old broken one. The fit was perfect. The people looked and looked. Some frowned, some smiled, some even laughed, and some cried. The truth stone now said, "You are loved, and so are they." And the people began to understand. Time passed, and slowly, as people met other people different from themselves, they began to see themselves. And far away on a hill in the very center of the world, Old Turtle smiled. And with that, we'll have our children and youth join us in Hodis Hall for our special activity for the day.
For you shall go out in joy, for you shall go out in joy, and come back in peace, and come back in peace. Blessed be, for you shall go out in joy, for you shall go out in joy, and come back in peace, and come back in peace. Blessed be.
The mission of Birmingham Unitarian Church is to be a free and welcoming religious community that encourages lives of integrity, learning, service, and joy. One way we live out this mission is by giving half of our weekly offering to a nonprofit organization that shares our values and addresses needs for the community. To suggest a nonprofit for this donation, please check the BUC website under Justice to find the application form. Application form. Our plate sharing recipient for May is Community Aid for Empowerment, or CAFE. CAFE supports our Oakland County immigrant neighbors and empowers our community by informing us of our constitutional rights, providing mutual aid to our immigrant neighbors, advocating local governments for sensible immigration policies, and a neighborhood watch to hold ICE accountable. Many of us attended a presentation by CAFE in January and have since become more involved. The ushers will now receive this morning's offering, given and received in a spirit of generosity and gratitude, and dedicated to the good work of CAFE and this congregation.
Marginal Wisdom by Leslie Takahashi. They teach us to read in black and white. Truth is this, the rest is false. You are whole or broken. Who you love is acceptable or not. But life tells its truth in many hues. We are taught to think in either or, to believe the teachings of Jesus or Buddha, to believe in human potential or a power beyond a single will. I am broken or I am powerful. But let us see the fractions, the spectrum, the margins. Let us open our hearts to the complexity of our worlds. Let us make our lives sanctuaries to nurture our many identities. The day is coming when all will know that the rainbow world is more gorgeous than monochrome, that a river of identities can ebb and flow over the static, stubborn rocks in its course, that the margins hold the center. We hold each other in our hearts and minds with all our joys and all our sorrows. We share the sad news that Toni Hardesty died on Sunday, May 10th at the age of 90. Toni had been failing for some time and was in hospice care. She was a member of BUC since 1964. She sang in the choir, was active in social justice work, and was bookkeeper and treasurer for many years. Toni was the mother of 2 sons, Alex and Glenn, and cared for her beloved cat, Horton. A memorial service for Toni will be scheduled at BUC. Sympathy is extended to Toni's family and friends. The joys and sorrows of the congregation that are shared with us this morning are these. From Shannon Snyderman, a sorrow into a joy. She says, my car died last Sunday morning in the parking lot. But I am so incredibly thankful for all of those who helped me get through the morning and have helped me get around this past week. Many thanks to Kirk for helping get my car towed, to Karen Stanky, Julia Pulver, and Dave and Ginger Luckins for rides on Saturday and this morning, and to my fellow BUC staff members who jumped in on Sunday so that I could better manage all of the different things that I had to do that morning. I truly could not have done it without you. We remember those experiencing losses and those facing health challenges. We pray, in whatever way we pray, for all those affected by war, by hatred and violence. We pray for peace. The cares of the world are many. Even when the cares of the world weigh on us, may we find joy in our connections with each other and in the pleasures that life holds. Let us take care of one another and ourselves in all the ways we can. Let us make this a safe and welcoming place for all. As we hold each other in our hearts and minds with all our joys and all our sorrows, whether spoken or unspoken, let's take a moment to be quiet together. Now please join in singing Filled with Loving Kindness.
Today's reading is by Sophia Lyon Foz. It matters what we believe. Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead way into the wider and deeper sympathies. Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears of unknown calamities. Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness. Some beliefs are divisive, separating saved from the unsaved, friends from enemies. Other beliefs are bonds in a world community where sincere differences, beauty, the pattern. Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction. Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration. Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness. Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth. Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world. Other beliefs are pliable, like the young sapling, ever growing with the upward thrust of life.
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going anywhere. A singer in a smoky room, smell of wine and cheap perfume.
A story is told about the devil out for a walk with a friend. The devil and the devil's friend saw a person on the road ahead of them stoop down and pick up something from the ground. "What did that person find?" asked the friend. "A piece of truth," said the devil. "Doesn't that disturb you?" asked the friend. "No," said the devil. "I'll let him make a belief out of it." I don't recall where I originally picked up that story, but the first time I included it in a sermon, a congregant who regularly challenged the preacher came up to me after the service to ask 2 questions. First, Unitarian Universalists don't actually believe in the devil, do they? And second, if there were a devil, would the devil have friends? An article published by Religion News Service carried the headline, "As Organized Religion Falters, the Devil Falls on Hard Times." The article began, "The 21st century has been hard on God, with faith in the divine and organized religion facing unrelenting decline." And the article continued, "The devil, it turns out, is not doing much better. Losing faith in God seems to be accompanied by disbelief in the devil." So shall we feel sorry for the devil, fallen on hard times? The article goes on to detail the usefulness of the devil, or at least the usefulness of belief in the devil, citing a professor of religion at Temple University who noted that whether you believe in an actual satanic figure or not, the devil serves as a symbol of all that is wrong with the world. Further, believing in the devil, noted the professor, means being aware of the potential for evil in every human heart, even among the most spiritual people. Of course, belief in the devil can be used as a way to put the blame for one's actions on someone or someone else. The devil made me do it. Or the threat of hell, long rejected by Universalists, can be a way to keep people in line. This story is told about our Universalist forebear, Hosea Ballou, a circuit-riding preacher who lived from 1771 until 1852. And you may have heard me tell this story before. Once, Hosea Ballou was riding on horseback to his next engagement along with a circuit-riding Baptist preacher. They passed the time in pleasant theological sparring until the Baptist made his argument against Ballou's rejection of hellfire. "Why, Brother Ballou, if I were a Universalist, there'd be nothing stopping me from knocking you off that horse and making off with your horse and provisions." To which Ballou replied, "My brother, if you were a Universalist, such a thought would never enter your mind." And speaking of hell, variously phrased and variously attributed is this quip: "Heaven for the climate, hell for the conversation." Conversation is one of our essential religious practices as Unitarian Universalists. As Unitarian Universalists, we are united in a search for truth, rather than by a single truth with a capital T. And there's a cartoon that shows a person at a crossroads. One arrow points to heaven. The other points to a discussion about heaven. Of course, the Unitarian Universalist heads in the direction of the discussion about heaven. Conversation, including questioning as well as persuasion, including speaking as well as listening, is one of the essentials of our religious practice. It is important not only that we search for truth, it is also important that we find truths and share them and put them into practice in the world. We do not seek or expect to find just one truth or just one way of expressing the truth. Many of our questions do not have certain answers, and some of our questions have more than one answer. Do we recognize that our truths are pieces of truth? In conversation, we may achieve a bigger picture, learn from others' truths, develop new truths. Conversations about beliefs can be fascinating, leading us to explore the meaning of life and death, the nature of human beings, and of our place in the universe, not just as disembodied concepts, but as real-life faith stances. It matters what we believe, but the danger of beliefs, pieces of truth, is that they can become entrenched, calcified, static, disembodied. The really interesting question is not, what do you believe, but what do you believe in, not just in your head, but in your life? According to theologian James Luther Adams' pragmatic theory of meaning, theology is meaningful only insofar as it affects actual practice. I love that a lot. Theology is meaningful only insofar as it affects actual practice. The question is, what difference to our practice and to our expectations it will make to believe this rather than that? Another way of putting this is that the most meaningful expression of our beliefs is in our deeds, not our creeds. As Unitarian Universalists, we formulate our belief statements in terms of credo, I believe, not creed, we believe. Our stories are among our sacred texts, and we are responsible for developing our own beliefs in light of our own experience and our own conscience. Unitarian Universalism is a way of faith expressed by credo and lived in covenant. We unite around a covenant of relationship that calls us to ways of being and doing together without restricting individual thought or expression. Unitarian Universalist minister Lisa Ward writes this about our covenantal way of faith. A covenant is not a definition of our relationship, it is the framework for our relating. A covenant leaves room for chance and change. It is humble toward evolution. It claims, I will abide with you in this common endeavor, be present as best I can in our becoming. She says this calls for a level of trust, courage, and sacrifice that needs to be nurtured, renewed, and affirmed on a regular basis. A creed creates a static truth, something that does not incorporate new insights and realities. A covenant is a dance of co-creation, keeping in step with one another in the flow of our lives. A creed seeks uniformity and a unison voice. A covenant seeks harmony and a shared voice. Sometimes we may arrive at a unison, but it is not required. A creed gives authority to the statement. A covenant gives authority to shared intention. A creed creates us and them. A covenant invites relationship. A creed is a prescription that must be relied on. A covenant relies on the treasures of shared truth. The overall trust within this covenant is the truth, capital T, something which no one person can fully see, yet something which each and every person can come to know in glimpses, in another story, in epiphanies. Truth is ever changing in our seeking to understand because of our limited perspectives. We grow into a deeper sense of the meaning of all things when we take the journeys seriously with full heart and mind. The courage within this covenant is the acceptance and celebration of life with all its challenges, pain, ironies, and joys. And the sacrifice within this covenant is in the letting go of dogma, of assumptions, of control, and giving over to a greater wisdom which come to us in bits and pieces. The task of this covenant is to take responsibility for the freedom we espouse. We know that we are interconnected and that what we do creates ripples of hope or despair, of affirmation or negation. What we do with and for one another is powerful and beyond our imagining. And so it is our approach to belief, rather than any one formulation or statement of belief that we share. We each find and hold pieces of truth that become meaningful as we develop them in conversation and live them together in community. In what do you choose to place your faith? Where do you choose to focus your attention? How do you choose to live? What is your mission? What do you believe in, not just in your head, but in your life? Now I invite you to rise and join in singing, Answering the Call of Love.
The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep us tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, where love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
Extinguishing our flame today to the words of Duke T. Gray, the blessing of truth. As we extinguish our chalice, may the blessing of truth be upon us, and the power of love direct and sustain us.
And may we live our lives fully and creatively, that we may be a blessing to ourselves, to each other, and to all those whose lives we touch. Please remain seated during the postlude. And then you can head to Hodas Hall for a coffee hour, and you may enjoy a 3-course meal with bagels, donuts, and fruit salad, which I believe is the activity of children and youth this morning. And you can pretend that that's lunch before the congregational meeting. Please return by noon and check in on the way in if you have not done that already.